Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Well, my friends, there's been no shortage of warnings about what's been going on in the crypto space and how it's really been taking a beating from a regulatory perspective, especially in the United States. Yes, of course, with the SEC versus Ripple case, but on the whole, things not been looking so pretty. And I got to tell you, John Deaton, who is the attorney seeking to intervene in the SEC versus Ripple case on behalf of about 19,000 XRP holders, well, Mr. Deaton, he called it. And I want to share with you some things that he had to say, including comments from a Twitter thread that he shared about half a year ago. I want to share portions of it with you. It's oh so relevant today, in particular in light of what's been happening, what we've been talking about over these last several days or so, with this train wreck of an infrastructure bill in the United States, which is going to have global implications, believe it or not. I know, think about that. Global implications in the crypto sphere because of a United States infrastructure bill. Now, it's being called an infrastructure bill, but it's full of so much crap that's unrelated, it'll make your head spin. But before I dig in, I do want to be clear, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos about crypto stuff purely as a fun hobby, and that's all that's going on here. Now, I want to start with this. There was a tweet from MadDog28 who tagged me along with a number of others, and specifically he wanted to address two attorneys within the XRP community. And so he tagged attorney Jeremy Hogan and attorney John Deaton and wrote, "Why isn't this being upheld? Doesn't a federal judge trump the SEC?" And he shared this screen grab from Forbes with an article titled, "Cryptocurrencies are commodities, says federal judge." And so some people might be understandably wondering, well, if they're commodities, how could they be securities? It's got to be one or the other, right? It's a little more complex than that. And John Deaton actually did respond, and he broke it down quite articulately. And so I wanted to share with you his thought on this. He wrote, "Anything can be classified a security if schemed, marketed, packaged, and sold as an investment contract. A company could package any product or commodity in a certain way that arguably makes it a security. We need Congress to declare the CFTC as the only agency to govern crypto. And wouldn't that be nice?" Because the people at the SEC, like I've been saying for some time, the way that they're engaging so illogically and unethically, to me it looks like a power grab and also a money grab, right? I'd say both, really, realistically, though. And so John Deaton then wrote this just yesterday. "I tweeted this 6 months ago. Add Gary Gensler's recent comments along with Hester Peirce's public criticism of the SEC and now the pending infrastructure bill going after crypto, and it's clear our fear and prediction of the United States falling behind the rest of the world is a done deal. Oh yes, this is happening." Most certainly. And so what is it that he shared? It was this thread which dated back to February 27th, and it's just as time has passed, the concerns that he was screaming from the rooftops, like it's coming to pass. There are actors within the United States that are trying to hinder actively the crypto space. This impacts all of us, and so we just need to be informed. And as a crypto community on the whole, not just XRP community, but as a crypto community, we're going to have to address this. And I will say, as far as it pertains to the infrastructure bill, it does seem like the crypto community on the whole was really moving and making, like, everyone's been making their voices heard. So despite the tribalism from crypto community to crypto community, which is silly, childish nonsense, but it is what it is. Despite that, everybody did seem to be working in unity to be screaming at all the senators that are supporting the infrastructure bill in the way that it's currently positioned. Without, to this point anyways, I record this, there is no amendment that has been approved that would take away these concerns that I've been citing over the last couple days. But here's what John Deaton wrote on, and again, this is February 27th of this year. And I'm just going to cover a portion of this, but it's highly relevant. You're going to find this fascinating. He wrote, "Why the SEC versus Ripple case is the most significant SEC case in modern history. The warnings that I've tweeted regarding an overreaching government have come true. The SEC has just put the entire crypto community and digital asset space on notice. And so he's actually absolutely completely spot on. And it's just interesting now that we have another 6 months worth of history under our belts here, we can see just how worse it's gotten. And so what he's referencing here, he retweeted something from SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce, and she wrote the following on February 26th this year. SEC's exam division released a risk alert on digital assets. I welcome your feedback. And John Deaton actually did respond to her, and he wrote the following. Really? Is that a serious question? The SEC is clearly engaging in regulation by enforcement in the Ripple case. So we, the public, will do the same as the SEC. Our feedback is coming in the form of a class action lawsuit I call feedback through litigation. You gotta love that, right? And so then back to the main thread here, he wrote the following. I've warned the Bitcoin maximalists that not even the king of crypto, Bitcoin, is safe from an out-of-control, scared government. I share the views of Raoul Pal and others about ending the crypto tribalism that permeates the digital asset industry. A united crypto community is necessary to withstand the attacks from the outside world, especially from government. And so let me pause. I do feel like for the first time that I can recall off the top of my head, at least the whole time I've been in crypto, which is since November 2017, for the first time, the crypto community on the whole, so not just individual communities like the XRP community or Bitcoin community, no, just crypto community as a whole. This is the first time it certainly appeared to me that everybody's really just working in unity to scream at these some of these stupid senators. No, you're being idiot sticks. Stop ruining everything. And not all of them are bad, by the way. There are a few senators that work to put together a bipartisan amendment. We'll see if it gets passed. We might find out today. I hope we find out today. So there are some that are acting in good faith, but there are enough out there that are just ruining everything and regulating over technology that they simply do not understand, which is ridiculous. And so then John continued. Many of you saw my immediate reaction when Hester Peirce tweeted the risk alert above and requested feedback. After reviewing it more carefully, I was hoping to find something positive. Let's be real. My tweet threads have been a bit negative or even angry lately. But after reading this warning disguised as a risk alert, my anger turned to genuine fear. Not fear of the SEC or its lawyers, but genuine fear that it's too late to save the United States from itself. It's clear that the United States will not be the leader in global trade and finance moving forward. I now believe that my earlier warnings that the SEC versus Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and Chris Larson is potentially a signal that the SEC is coming after all cryptocurrencies and digital assets, in fact accurate. And by the way, let me pause right there. Despite what William Hinman's speech, former SEC Director Hinman's speech from June of 2018, which now they're claiming was just his personal opinion, even though it was definitely presented in a way that would make, and it did make, market participants and crypto media and mainstream media view it as official decree from the SEC. It gave Ethereum, at least on the surface, it seemed to give Ethereum specifically a golden pass. It's not a security, everything's good, right? But what we're actually finding now is that it looks like that's being walked back now that there's a new sheriff in town. You got Gensler, who has replaced Jay Clayton, and he was asked specifically about Ethereum, and it looks like, from his perspective, and I've recovered this in a recent video, it looks like things are regressing, actually. Like it's within the realm of possibility that action could be taken against the Ethereum Foundation, to be honest with you, because the SEC doesn't have an official position. That's what they say today anyway, right? And so anyway, John Deaton continues. Some of you may think that I'm being paranoid and that I'm an alarmist. If so, please take 20 minutes and read the SEC risk alert yourself. In fact, if the SEC didn't title it as risk alert, I wouldn't even know what it is. I wouldn't know how to describe it or what to call it. To understand what I'm getting at, you don't even have to read past footnote number 1. Here's that footnote in its entirety. This statement represents the views of the staff of the Division of Examinations, formerly known as the Office of Compliance Inspections and Examinations. It is not a rule, regulation, or not a statement of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. The Commission has neither approved nor disapproved its contents. This statement, like all staff guidance, has no legal force or effect. It does not alter or amend applicable law, and it creates no new or additional obligations for any person. End quote. And so then John writes, what the hell does that mean? I will tell you exactly what it means. It means that you and I can never rely on or use the statements or information contained within this public alert. We can't even bring it up to be used against the SEC in any possible way. But the SEC can use it against us if they choose, and now it can claim it provided a warning and or an alert on the subject before filing an action against any person, business group, or entity. And so let me pause right there. By this point in time, when John Deaton was writing this, the SEC already knew Ripple's intent with its fair notice defense. This idea that Ripple had been operating in broad daylight, very transparently for the better part of a decade, and they did not get any sort of notification from the SEC that what they were doing was wrong. And if the court upholds that, by the way, then Ripple absolutely just outright wins. And so it looks like they launched this risk alert to provide cover for themselves for the future, so they can go back to it and say, look, we talked about it, despite the fact that there's a footnote saying, a little bit that I read there, basically stating, hey, this isn't an official decree from the SEC. That's basically what it was getting at, which is kind of gross. It's like they want to pretend like they're providing guidance, but everything that they write, it's not like nothing's actually set in stone, so they can take whatever position will suit them from a legal perspective at any point in time. That's the reason they're doing what they're doing. It's absolutely disgusting and ridiculous here. And so then John continues. But the SEC can use it. I think I covered that. Let me just jump in from there anyway. The SEC can use it against us if they choose, and now it can claim it provided a warning and or an alert on the subject before filing an action against any person, business, group, or entity. This so-called risk alert covers basically all the different categories of cryptocurrencies and all the different potential groups of investors. For example, the risk alert states the following, and this is a quote: "This risk alert provides observations made by division staff during examinations of investment advisors, broker-dealers, and transfer agents regarding digital asset securities that may assist firms in developing and enhancing their compliance practices." End quote. Translation: so basically, all this risk alert does is allow the SEC to later claim that they warned investors, developers, venture capitalists, exchanges, broker-dealers, etc., that the SEC Enforcement Division may, one day, come after them for non-compliance. Why do I say that? Because this risk alert also states the following, and here's another quote: "In addition, as more securities industry participants seek to engage in digital asset-related activities, this risk alert provides transparency about areas of focus for the division's future examinations." End quote. And then John continues, "Future examinations? Question mark? Yes, the SEC is letting us all know that they will be bringing more enforcement actions in the future regarding digital assets." And for those of you who've been watching my content, especially over the last several days or so, in addition to the infrastructure bill, I highlighted, literally, I guess it was just yesterday, a story about another firm, and what was the name of it off the top of my, I can't recall off the top of my head now what it was called, but there was a firm, and it was the first instance where the SEC went after a company that was in decentralized finance, and so they were smaller, and they ended up basically they agreed to pay a fine and so on and so forth, and they're getting disgorged of the millions of dollars that were raised. And so in that specific instance, whether or not that's right or wrong, it's very clear that the SEC wants to come after all of crypto, and they're not afraid to go after those projects that are legitimate too. Yeah, fine, they go after ICOs, and probably most of that, from what I've gathered to this point, is legitimate. Like those, especially the crazy number of ICOs in 2017, because that was the rage at the time. Yeah, those were non-compliant securities, the vast majority, if not all of them. So I can actually get on board with that, but they're bringing suits against all sorts of people and manipulating and putting pressure in ways that it's not healthy for the space, and this is how they're acting, and I happen to find this all disgusting. And so you can see everything that John Deaton wrote here back in February, and the direction he said things were going, and I've been on board with him the whole time, it's been coming to pass, and I've been highlighting it story after story after story. That's why it's just, you gotta wonder, like, is justice going to be done? Well, I'm still optimistic in the case of SEC versus Ripple, but this idea of regulation through enforcement, it's one of the most repulsive things that I've ever seen in the crypto space. It really is. Like, you're destroying people's lives and harming investors, and the SEC just doesn't care. They just don't give a damn. But I'll go ahead and wrap up there. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.